Happy Saturday evening. How are you guys doing? Well, I just got done doing my review of the Cinnamon Crunch Latte, so you have to go over and check out my review channel, Peter Reviews Stuff. And I had my true crime book club today that I run with my good Judy Mel. And we talked about a book called Couple Found Slain by Makita Brotman. And then we also, I'm going over to my good Judy Tawny Jean's house right now. And then we also announced the October book, which is going to be about the true stories behind horror movies, of which I'm very excited to read. And somebody actually suggested that to us in the comments on my vlog. So that's how we found that book. By the way, yesterday in my drama video, I announced that my friend Melissa and I, who are starting a horror movie podcast coming very, very soon, the announcement of when our first episode will be, of which it will be broadcast on all podcasting services, we're hoping, as well as hopefully YouTube. We're trying to figure out how we want to do it. Right now, we may show part of it on YouTube and the rest of it like on the podcasting services, like the whole entire podcast, you know, like on Spotify or Apple or something like that, and then like just part of it on YouTube. We're not sure how we're gonna do it yet. So anyway, but we announced the socials yesterday. The name of our podcast is the Boogeman Besties. So I explained at length on my drama video yesterday, as well as in my vlog that will be posted today, how we came up with that name. And we will also talk about it on the podcast. So, those are the things that are going on in my life. But I have to tell you what is funny. Okay, so for Peter's book club, if you didn't know, which you don't know is a lot, I have a book club. I have two book clubs. True crime book club that I run with my good Judy Mel. By the way, I am obsessed with the dark rum scented lotion and body wash from Malin & Getz. And so I bought the rub-on oil that comes in a little tube, and it came today, and it's just like fantastic. I'm like obsessed with it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is, the other day, I think it was Allison, the last like unboxing, PO unboxing that I showed, her candles are so fantastic, you guys. I hadn't burned them yet when I opened the boxes, but I started burning the pumpkin pecan one right after that, and my husband came home and he goes, "What smells so good in the house?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The whole house smells like baking bread." I had this little candle lit in the corner of the kitchen, and the whole house smelled like her candle. Her candles are fantastic, you guys. So please go check out Allison's candles. I listed them on my the last PO unboxing that I did on this channel. And I will also post all of my socials for the Boogeman Bestie underneath here. All right, but let me tell you, so for my book club, Peter's book club, which I just kind of run on my booktube channel, Peter Likes Books, as well as my Instagram, I pick a book every month and just invite people to read it with me. And this month's book is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. I love Julie Murphy. She wrote Dumplin', which has been made into a movie on Netflix. I just love her, love her, love her. Okay, this is like her first adult book, and it is so fantastic, you guys. Like, I'm listening to it on Audible. The Audible version is fantastic. I cannot stop listening to it. It's kind of a retelling of Cinderella to like a show like The Bachelor on TV, and it's so well done, and it's so hilarious. And it's extremely inclusive, and it's just a really great book. So anyway, I was listening to it on the way to doing my review, and they were making references to the movie Titanic, okay? And so she said something about, they were joking in the book, this isn't gonna ruin the book for you, I promise. They were joking about how Jack, who was played by Leonardo DiCaprio, could have fit on the floating door with Rose at the end of the book, but instead he dies, he drowns, right? We know that. Okay. If you haven't seen Titanic in the 30 years that it's been out, I'm sorry that I ruined it for you. Let me tell you about when I first went and saw Titanic. It was with my first long-term boyfriend. He had to go see it because he was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio, so we had to go the night that it opened. It was so packed when we got there that we had to sit on the floor in front of the first row. And when the boat would go by on the screen, we were like this. True story. I was so bitter. I was so angry about it. I was like, oh my God, I can't even see. I'm like just thinking to myself, I hope I didn't delete my review video right before I did this video. Anyway, I was so bitter about it. I was like, oh my God. I can't even hardly see this movie, you know? So anyway, he loved every minute of it. We went and saw that movie so many times. I have seen the movie Titanic so many times. I don't even know. My heart will go on forever, I swear. But anyway, I've been kind of like obsessed with like the conspiracy theories about that movie ever since I watched it. And I have to tell you what's funny about this. This is kind of like a vlog, but I have a question. My question is, why couldn't they have both fit on the door? Okay, and then Jack would have lived, right? So, back in the day, way before that movie ever came out, and I was like a little kid, and do you guys remember there was a movie called Race the Titanic? Oh my God, I was like obsessed with that movie when I was a kid. I don't know if I ever saw I trimmed my beard today, it's driving me nuts, but I don't know if I ever saw the whole thing, but I was like obsessed with that movie when I was a kid, Race the Titanic, right? To the point where I really thought they could do that. They could raise the Titanic. And then I started, like, when I started getting on YouTube, I started watching all these videos of, like, well, I'd watched some of it before, but, like, the cameras that go inside, it's so eerie, don't you think? Like, when it goes inside Titanic and you can see the things that are still there and whatever. Then I love that channel. I can't think of her name. It's called, like, Ask a Mortician, or Ask a, yeah. And I love that channel so much. And she did a video, and that was actually how I found her, about like what happened to the bodies on the Titanic. And it's very, very interesting what she says on there. So anyway, so I have through the years watched these conspiracy videos where one of them was like these two guys that had recreated the door, like the density of the door and the width and the length and everything of the door to see if like they could have both been on there. And what they proved was that Jack and Rose could have both easily fit on the door that was floating in the water and survived, right? Okay. Now, I have looked it up too, and James Cameron, the director of Titanic, he came out at one point and said something, and then like at the 20-year mark, he came out and he said, I don't even know why this is like a question, why we're even talking about this. He was like, he spent all this time making sure that they could even keep one person on the door, let alone two, and he still believes to this day that only one person could have stayed on there for 3 hours to survive like the cold and all that kind of stuff of what it would be out there, right? So, I'm not convinced, but this is what James Cameron says. He says, if you read the articles about it, okay, that it's like artistic, like it's his take artistically, right? And that the movie is about grief and sadness and longing for somebody that has since passed away. And that if Jack had lived at the end of the movie, then the movie would never have been the same movie. I don't know that I agree with that. I just don't know. Like, I wanted Jack to live. I wanted Jack to live, you know? And, I just am not convinced. I mean, yes, it made for a very tragic and sad ending to the movie. Yes, I think that it was a fantastic ending, because, like, artistically, because it was so sad and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel like if Jack, okay, I'm like thinking it through, like alternative ending, right? And I've seen the alternative endings as well. If Jack had lived, and then, I mean, the other guy lived, right? Okay, so why did he get to live and Jack didn't get to live? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. So if Jack had lived, and they both got on the boat, and then the ending of it, she had to like say her name was something else or something, and then they went off. Why couldn't we have had a happy ending? Why'd we have to have a sad ending? Do we like happy ending? I like happy endings sometimes, you know, or whatever. What if she had that necklace and they went off and they moved to California and they lived happily ever after under fake names and she sold the necklace? Well, then why would she still have the necklace? Well, she wouldn't, would she? So that wouldn't work. Maybe they made a fake necklace and then Jack had died. Wait, maybe you find out at the end of the movie that they had gone off and they had lived somewhere real poor, but they were happy. And the sentiment of the movie meant that you didn't have to be a rich person to be happy and be able to take staterooms on the Titanic, you know, that you could be poor and find love poor, because I think that's true. You know, some of my happiest times were when I had nothing. And then at the end of it, you find out that her husband has been dead. Like, he just died, and so the thing that kept them connected all these years was the secret over the necklace, and so that's why she goes on there to finally say goodbye. He could have lived. See, I just gave a perfect ending. That you don't even find out till the end of the movie that Jack survived, right? That you don't even find out that Jack survives, and then they go on to live this long life, okay, and nobody knows who she is because she gives fake name. Didn't she give a fake name anyway? And then they go on to have this long life, and yeah, I think it'd be real nice. Why can't we do that? What's wrong with that? I don't understand why movies always have to end so sad. I don't like it. Anyway, what do you think? Give me your alternative ending to what do you think should happen with Jack and Rose. I never really did like her anyway. I have to be honest, okay? Like, I like Kate Winslet, and when I saw her in that movie, or that TV show, what was that TV show she was in not too long ago, where she played the lady detective? I loved that show so much. I can't remember what it was. My cousin got me to watch it. She said it was the best show she had seen all year. I did think that show was fantastic, and Kate Winslet was so good in that, and I like her in other things. Kate Winslet, to me, is kind of like Nicole Kidman. Like, I like her in some movies, but I don't really like her when you see interviews of her and stuff like that. I don't really know why. I don't know why. But I didn't really like Rose on... I mean, I liked the old Rose, but I didn't like the young Rose. I just didn't think she was very nice. I didn't, you know? I don't know. So, anyway... But, I mean, it was a love story. I wonder who else. You know, one thing I have never looked up is who else auditioned for the role of Rose. Do we know? I mean, was it Scarlett Johansson? She would have been a good Rose. You know? Who else? I mean, Julia Roberts wanted every role in Hollywood, but Julia Roberts, I don't think she would have made a very good Rose, do you? She'd like, you know, she'd see that necklace and she'd do the thing, and we don't need all that, okay? Julia, I love Julia Roberts, but even like in Erin Brockovich, which is one of my favorite movies, I mean, she's kind of a one note, you know? She is, though. I mean, Julia Roberts is kind of one note, but I do love her. I do love her, but she's kind of one note, you know? It's like Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock's kind of one note, too. I mean, even when I saw that Blindside movie, which I think is fantastic and she deserves an Oscar for, I just think it's kind of like the movie, you know, what was the movie that she would Speed? Is that where she's on the bus or whatever, and then she's in a building and... You know, it's kind of like Die Hard, but Sandra Bullock. She's kind of one note. I mean, I love them, I do, but they're all kind of, it's like that Jennifer Aniston. Can somebody explain to me why every man in the world thinks Jennifer Aniston is sexy? I just do not get it. My dad is like, oh, I think she's so sexy. She's like the girl next door. I'm like, what? He's like, I mean, she's just like, you know, she's this, and I'm just like, she's had the same haircut for 40 years! Which, I mean, what's wrong with that? Nothing, I guess. But, like, everybody just lives and dies over Jennifer Aniston. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. But anyway. I think, well, I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think would have been a better, different ending. This is just kind of a car conversation I wanted to have with y'all today. So, all right. I hope that you're having a wonderful Sunday. I love you. If you like this kind of little car conversation, let me know. And let me know what you think should have happened to Rose. And why not Rose? Why didn't Rose drown and Jack made it? You know, that would have been a good ending too. Well, everybody would have been so bitter about that. I mean, they would have. I mean, because he was a gentleman. See, that's why he gave her the door, you know, which was a lot more than that man that she was with gave her. He didn't give her a whole lot but that necklace, you know. Well, he didn't give her the necklace, but it was her, you know. You know what I'm saying, anyway. Well, and why was it all about the necklace? Who cares? Who cares about that damn necklace, okay? And then she'll hold on to it all those years just to throw it into the sea. I don't go. I think the big winner out of all of it really was Celine Dion. I do. I think she's the one that won out of everything because she had that song, you know. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.